Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Lee from Creative Lee, back with a second video. Thanks to all the likes and comments that I've had from quite a few people over the last week. It's been really fantastic. Everyone's been really nice, and it turns out the rain's coming down again. We're having the wettest spring that I ever remember having in such a long time, and it's just constantly raining at the moment. But it's sort of warm as well, so yeah, the humidity level is starting to get up there, even though it's not that hot. Like, it might be 20 degrees Celsius, but anyway. So yeah, I don't have a lot. Video should be a lot shorter today because I've only been working on two things. Well, one's a new start. The thing I said I was going to work on last week I didn't work on because I had some fabric arrive in the mail that I had been waiting for from the States for my Châtelaine. This one is a small Châtelaine mandala, the Marrakesh night. I went to Morocco for my 40th, not on my actual 40th, but in recognition of my 40th. 2000, I probably should be able to do the maths. So 2012, and spent 3 weeks there. It was fantastic, and this just is, you know, reminds you of the Medina in Marrakesh, where I spent, I don't know, maybe 4 days in the middle of my trip and at the end of my trip, and the Châtelaine Mosque, which is, you know, very visible from the Medina and from the area. So anyway, I'm doing that. Yeah, it's only small, so I've been waiting for the fabric to come through. I've had the pattern for ages and the specialty threads and all of the beads and what have you. But I didn't want to do it on white. I think I said last week I hardly ever do stuff on white, and I wanted to, because of the beads, stick to the 28 count because that makes sense, even though usually that's quite a big count for me. And I wanted a solid colour, not a really fancy mottled fabric, because otherwise you'll lose, I think, some of the detail of the threads and stuff. So I actually bought a piece of fabric from Fabric Flair. It's a 28 count even weave. It's not Zweigart based. I don't know what they use. It's a really, I'll talk about that in a minute. And it's called Tea Rose, and it's probably, just trying to get the colour, probably a little more apricot than that. That's looking a little pink, but for me it's the colour, like it combines the, the pinky apricot tones of the Sahara, where I spent, I stayed a night in the Sahara, of the sand, and the red sandstone of a lot of the monuments and the Medina, and then the sunset over the Sahara. It sort of reminds me of that. So that's it there. And I started it because I had all the things, and I'm a little bit what you might call in New Zealand rip, shit and bust, basically just getting stuck in. So that's the fabric, and it arrived on Wednesday, which way's up, and I've done this. So I'm working through, I'm doing all the cross stitches first, with a little bit of the metallic in down there on that bottom night sky, so that's the bottom. And yeah, I'll do all of the, I think I'll do all the cross stitches, then I'll do the back stitch that's over the little seam, and then I'll do all the metallic. There's a whole lot of metallic sort of black work all through here, a lot of beads in here. I think I'll do that, and then all the specialty stitches. Although, yeah, anyway, I'm going to do all the crosses first and just get that out of the way, and then you've got a nice strong foundation for doing the backwork and stuff, especially when you might want to weave in ends. It's a bit hard to, yeah, it's best always easier to make sure you've got a good anchor when you've got some crosses to tie under. So yeah, it is a small, like I know a lot of people have done Châtelaine and they are massive. This is only 166 square, so it's probably yeah, it's I think often the Châtelaine can be around anything from 250 to 350 square, so yeah, it's quite a lot smaller. But yeah, so I got the fabric on Wednesday when I got home from work, and after dinner I just sat down and thought, why not? I don't need to finish my Pride and Prejudice piece, which is what I was going to do. Finish the Pride and Prejudice Sal, Mystery Sal. I want to work on this, and as you can see I've done quite a lot, so I'm really loving it. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it does remind me of being in Marrakesh in Morocco, and it's a fantastic place which I recommend to visit. It's where I got my hamsa from when I was in Essaouira on the coast. Went to a silversmith's, and I've pretty much worn this almost every day. What's that, 7 years? Crikey. So yeah, pretty cool. So that was pretty much that's all I've been working on since Wednesday. So Wednesday night, Thursday night, I went up Friday night, so I didn't do anything then. And then yesterday afternoon and evening, and I've done a little bit today. As I said before, I do stitch quite fast, and I stitch in hand. So, but I also worked on HL's moth, because I think I'd only had a tiny little bit. I'll show you. I think I took a picture. I'll insert it here. And because I dragged it out and ironed it to show you all, there's the design. I felt inspired to work on it pretty much after I finished editing the video. I sat down and thought, well, I'll pick it up again because it deserves a little bit of my time. And this is where I got to. I pretty much got all of that side done and started on this wing, which was about how much roughly was done in that wing, so well over halfway, given there's no back stitching or anything. And I think so that would have been, yeah, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Monday night, Tuesday night. And when I say Monday night, Tuesday night, I usually, by the time I get home from work, that's usually between 6:30, 7, get dinner sorted, tidy up after dinner. Yeah, I normally sit down anything from 7:30 to 8, and I stitch for 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's pretty much most evenings. And then at the weekend, on average, I probably get about 12 hours stitching in at the weekend. So I usually have, you know, one afternoon and evening, and then maybe a bit in the mornings. Usually one day I'm busy doing, you know, housework and chores and visiting people. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been working on. So yeah, my haul was basically the fabric. Oh yeah, so talk about that fabric. Fabric flare. So I love stitching on linen. I think it's the natural fibre. I just love the feel of it. It feels, you know, there's a sense of nature to it. Is that what it is? I mean, I don't want to say oiliness, because it's not oily. Like, I'm just feeling my linen now, but it feels, I don't know, I sleep in linen sheets. I love linen, not cotton. I like cotton too, but I love linen sheets. So I just love the feeling of linen, right? So I've always loved linen. And when I use even weave, it would normally be, most of the stuff I've done would be on 25 count Lugana. So I've done all my Teresa Wentzler's on 25 count Lugana. Recently I've done 28 count Brittany, which is for the Caroline Manning design. So I've only I've only used Swagart, and pretty much that's the only even weave I've used, those two. And they're fine, you know. I love linen, but sometimes when you want a really symmetrical piece, I think then the even weave, you know, suits that kind of project. This is weird. So, I love the colour. It's a printed, like it's not hand dyed, it's an actual printed fabric. And for this particular project, I'm really happy with the colour. It's definitely more apricot than this. It's warmer. It's more like the Sahara sand than it is. That's very pink. But I don't like. It's very matte. It's a very, very flat finish, and it almost feels a little. I don't know. If you're someone who hates the feeling of cotton wool or cornstarch, cornflour, that real gritty kind of, this is edging towards it. I don't love touching it. I'll be quite glad to get this finished. It's just not, and it's really, really matte. So what that means is it's great for this piece because it's a real background fabric. I think it'll help the beads and the specialty threads really be prominent. It is, yeah. But it's not as nice to hold as I think linen or even Lugana or the Zweigart print ones are. So it's just a comment. I certainly don't regret buying it and perfectly happy to use it, but I'm very glad that I don't use this for all of my pieces. So that's just, yeah, fabric flair. I was just wanting to find a fabric that had nice colour options, solid colour options, without any and in an even weave, because this is the Châtelaine is such a symmetrical design. I think it's important to, well, for me, that it's nice and, you know, slubs and stuff. But I actually really normally love slubs and stuff. So that's the fabric there. So I think I promised last time that if I came back, which I did, I'll show you my death by cross stitch. So I did a terrible job of filming. I'm going to insert a little clip because it's really hard and big and heavy to hold up, and I have to have the iPad further back. So I did a terrible job, but I'm going to insert that now, and I talk a little bit about that. So here's my death by cross stitch that I finished in July, got framed in August. It's very heavy and very big, so just a bit of detail. It's resting on the table, I can't really move it anymore, but some things I kind of see bits I changed. Down the bottom there on the screen you've got Death Thou Shalt Die, which I customised from John Donne's sonnet. I can't remember what it's called now, I've gone completely blank. But it was, originally there were 3 words in Dutch, which I changed. And there are other little pieces up here. I added a few little motifs, a little butterfly and some little bits and pieces just to add a little bit of interest there. And there's some other little tiny pattern tweaks on the way. But yeah, anyway, she's a big in museum glass, and this sort of distressed black frame. It's a bluey black. Yeah. Done in on 36 count white Edinburgh linen, with the variegated silk is PR124 from Silks For You, and the berry colour is DMC, oh gosh, I think it's 3803. If that's not a berry colour, it's not that, but it's, yeah, 3803. So yeah, again, short video. I do have a wee haul coming from Australia. There's a Facebook store called JK's Stitching. and Janet there has a store that she aims to provide charts and needlework supplies to Australia and New Zealand at good prices. So her markup's not, because she's not got a fancy store, her markup is a bit more reasonable, and she does sort of fixed shipping as well, which is really nice. She had a sale last week where she did, like, I can't remember what it was, 10% off charts and kits, and then 15% off for two if you bought two or more, or two things, and I think 20% off if you bought three or more. So I bought a few charts from her, which made the prices quite reasonable. So I can't even remember what I bought, so we'll see what's coming. Maybe next time I'll show, what will I show? Either my oldest FFO that I have here, that I haven't sold or got rid of, oldest FFO that I still own, which is the second piece I ever stitched. Maybe I'll do that, and I'll leave, I was going to say I could show my Teresa Wentzlers, but I might leave them as a teaser for a later date. Yeah, maybe I'll get the FFO off the wall, the gestures off the wall, and show them next week or the week after, depending on when I do another video. So anyway, that's me saying hooroo, and yep, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.